of futures contracts. We're going to cover this learning module in 3 videos. In the first video, we'll cover the introduction and the pricing of futures contracts at inception and the mark-to-market valuation. In the second video, we will cover interest rate futures versus forward contracts. And in the third video, we're going to cover the forward and future price differences, interest rate forward and future price differences, and the effect of central clearing on OTC derivatives. So let's get started with the introduction. And it's just going to repeat what we've already discussed, that in this video we will be covering the pricing and valuation of future contracts and how it differs from forward contracts. So in the previous learning module, we talked about the pricing and valuation of forward contracts, and we're going to look at the pricing and valuation of futures contracts in this learning module and the difference between the two. We will also look at interest rate futures. We've already seen the forward rate agreements, so we will be comparing and contrasting forward rate agreements with interest rate futures. And then we will see the effect of the central clearing of OTC derivatives. So this is basically after the 2008 financial crisis that the world realized that these over-the-counter derivatives, which are forwards and primarily the swaps, were the concern, and now there is a central clearing for that. So they've like kind of become more like futures now. Anyways, we'll cover that in the last video for this learning module, which is the third one. So starting off with pricing of futures contracts at inception. Now this is very similar to forwards because forwards also have a zero initial value when the contract is started, and so do futures. So futures and forwards are very similar in this aspect, that their initial contract value is 0. And the pricing is also the same. And you might feel that this is a very familiar looking formula, and so is this one, and so is this one. All these 3 formulas must be looking familiar to you from the previous videos. The only difference is that you're looking at a small f over here, and in the previous videos we were looking at a large F. So it was the forward price was being calculated based on the spot price, and it was being multiplied with the time value of, basically loading up the time value of money by multiplying it with 1 plus r to the power t. And over here we have the same formula. The only difference is we have a small f instead of a large F, because small f is used for futures whereas large F is used for forwards. But the formula is the same. This was for discrete compounding, and for continuous compounding we used this formula, where we would, for forwards we were having f with the large F was the forward price was the spot price multiplied by e to the power RT. And here it's the same formula. The only difference is that it is a small f denoting the futures price. And if there are any benefits or income that are there for the asset or any costs, then we just make the adjustment for that. And this should also look very familiar to you, that you take the spot price, you minus the present value of the income, you add the present value of the cost, and then you take this whole thing and then you load it up with the time value of money, that is you multiply it with 1 plus r to the power t, and this gives you the forward price as well as the future price. So if future price is what you're after, then it will be a small f, and if it is a forward price, then it will be a big F. So no difference here between futures and forwards. However, once the contract starts, now on a daily basis the future contract is being marked to market. Now what that means is that on a daily basis, either there is going to be a gain or a loss for one party and a gain or which will have an opposite position for the other party, but they don't leave it to settle at the end of the contract, unlike forwards. So with forwards, what we had was forwards are settled at the end of the contract, at contract expiry, right? But here we don't have that, because futures usually they don't want counterparty risk, they don't trust each other. Forwards are usually over the counter, done between big financial institutions. They trust each other, they wait till the contract expiry and then they settle the contract. Futures, they are usually between relatively smaller players, they have an exchange in the middle, and they both have to deposit some amount, and on a daily basis that amount is either increased or decreased depending on where the spot price is going. So unlike a forward contract where the gain or loss is realized at the end of the contract period, in a futures contract there is a daily settlement, and this is a daily cash flow, right? Either your deposit is going up or it's going down depending on where the spot price is going. And this is called the process of mark to market, that based on the market price of the spot price of that underlying asset, your deposit with the futures exchange is marked on a daily basis, either marked up or marked down, right? Another difference is that the future price is different from the forward price in the sense that initially they are the same, but the forward price is locked once and it remains locked till the end of the contract. But future price changes daily on the market. So if the spot price goes up, the future price goes up. And if the future price goes up, then the contract for the long party will be in profit, and for the short party will be in a loss, and their deposit will be adjusted accordingly. So the future prices fluctuate on a daily basis, whereas the forward prices are locked and they stay locked till the end of the contract. Now let me demonstrate this with an example. So we have a spot price of a stock of $100, and this is a 3-period future contract, and eventually the spot price goes to 115. No, sorry, the futures contract price is 115, which is your small f, right? And obviously, because we know the forward price is calculated in the same way, so the forward price is also 115. So you're basically getting into a contract where the futures price that is being locked in the future is 115, and the forward price that is also being locked in the future is 115. Now if the asset will go above 115, it will be a profit for the long party, and if it will go below 115, it will be a profit for the short party. Now at the end of the contract, what is happening is that the asset price is going to 125, right? Which means that you locked a price of 115 for the future, and you locked a price of 115 for the forward, and eventually if the closing price is 125, then there is going to be a $10 gain for the long party. Whether it is a long forward or whether it is a long future, both parties are eventually going to have a $10 gain, right? But the difference is, how do we get there? I mean, from this point till the last point, as you can see in the case of a forward, there is nothing in the middle. At the end of the period, which is the end of the contract expiration, the $10 gain is there. But that is not the case with the future contract. When the price is going up, the adjustment of future is there, that it went up $5, so they added $5 profit. It went up another $5, so they added another $5 profit. But then it came down $5, so they subtracted the $5, and eventually they had a $10 net impact. So I mean, they both get to the same destination at the end of the day. It's just that the future comes there after having a daily adjustment, and the forward just directly comes to that point, right? And that can also be seen with the short party's perspective, that the short forward has no adjustments in the middle, and directly they come to the -10, whereas this comes to the -10 going through -5, -5 and +5.